Hello and welcome back to my channel. Excuse me, sir. Honestly, that is illegal. But anyways, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna. Today we'll be doing some July. So, we have quite a lot of books to go through, so let's get going. My first book is Flick Estate by F.V. Davidson. Nora Sylvian has just discovered she's a person who can manipulate probability. The same day Nora's navigation manifests, she and her father are swarmed by possibility beasts. When a possibility beast bites you, your risk of death skyrockets, and pretty soon her father gets sick. Comes out on July 28th. My next book is Black Girls Don't Cry by Alex Travis. Ida and JJ were the ultimate power couple of Banneker High. As the VP and president of the Black Student Union, the two seemed destined to be yearbook legends, but that was before an ugly breakup. JJ is already deep in a new relationship which infuriates Ida, almost as much as when a sexiest hot list starts circulating the school. It's bad enough and rated the girls on their looks, but the list has only white students. Seriously? There has never been any racial diversity among the Power Queen candidates at Banneker, so the BSU decides to make their own statement on beauty and a monthly candidate, and Ida and JJ's new girlfriend will each compete for the crown, except the candidates started getting picked up one by one, and Ida is sure she's being stalked. Forget winning a tiara, who will live to see prom? Comes out on July 28th. And my next book is No One Leaves the Manual by Kelly McWilliams. It's 1921 and Mrs. Caroline Reginald Kane, the last surviving descendant of a family of oil barons, has invited 4 young debutantes to visit her at Greystone Manor. There, they will compete for the ultimate to become heir to her unspeakable vast fortune, where only one girl can win. And the manor is watching. Dorothea is a thief and the best liar in the American Northeast. Her mother vanished in Greystone years ago, and she's determined to find out why. So long as no one uncovers her secrets first. Vaughn isn't crazy. She was born for this life, and she will let anyone come between her and the fortune she deserves. Bertie doesn't know why she's been invited, but she believes everything happens for a reason, and that reason just may be divine. Elspeth is called pretty as a peach, Dem is a doorknob, but she's seen things that others can't whispering at birds. What? But she's seen things that others can't see? Oh gosh. Whispering birds, shifting doors, and a language that should never be spoken. And there's something else hidden behind these walls, something sinister. It doesn't plan to let them leave alive. Comes out on July 14th. And this somebody doesn't plan me to leave alive. Wow, guys, what was up with the ending? Anyways, my next book is King of Lost Dreams by Nevin Holders. So it is the second book of King of Dead Things duology. And it was getting increasingly difficult to differentiate dreams from reality. Dreams, of course, didn't have teeth, and memories didn't have claws, but something had torn into him. Whatever it was hungry. It had been 3 months since Sonny left. To anyone that asked, Ellie is fine. Sure, the last time he had seen his sister, they both narrowly avoided the deaths, and yes, he hadn't known she was his sister at the time. It was also fine that she wouldn't tell him who he was or where he came from, or more importantly, why she had been lying to his face since the first day they supposedly met. He doesn't remember his family anyway, so it's easy to force himself to forget she ever existed. But then something begins hunting him down in his sleep. It starts a scratch on the wrist, a burn on the chest, but then his dreams become more vivid and begin to draw blood. Each night when things get dire, he senses Sonny wakes up just before whatever is chasing him can finish the job. Ellie vows to avoid sleep altogether, but can he stay awake and alive long enough to reunite with his sister and finally get the answers he's been agonizing over? Comes out on July 7th. My next book is Augusta Pine Does Not Exist by Emily Lloyd Jones. I was 15 when I became a murderer. After a hack gone tragically wrong, a teen girl is given an ultimatum: accept a harsh prison sentence or leave her old life behind and use her talents in the service of a shady government agency. 3 years later, the newly named Augusta Pine has become a skilled wrath, one of the Identity Security Division's secret operatives. She has no home, no family, and her only friends are her coolly professional handler and a snarky AI spy bot. So when she is sent to Portland for an assignment, she seizes the chance to catch a glimpse of her beloved grandmother and rents the apartment next door. What begins as a tragic stalking turns into a fight for survival when a group of cyber terrorists hacks the building and imprisons the residents. Augusta doesn't know exactly what they want, but she does know they are ready to murder for it. With a quick wits, tech-savvy, and help from an intriguing fellow hostage, Augusta must race against the clock to stay one step ahead of the killers. Comes out on July 7th. My next book is The Brides by Charlotte Frost. Before Dracula devoured the brides. 1903, Sir John Seward's survival of Count Dracula's murderous campaign 10 years before takes up a post as psychiatric doctor at an Oxford public asylum. There, a new patient arrives whose traumatic experiences investigate horrors John has spent a decade trying to forget. 1884, Mathilda lonely journeys from London to Budapest to care for her recently widowed aunt, Rebecca. She uncovers the chilling truth about her uncle's death and writes to her secret love, Lucy, Norfolk, for comfort. Chaperoned by former school friend Eliza and lady's maid Alice, Lucy travels across the continent to be with her beloved. Only Alice, besieged by nightmares and terrifying visions, notices a strange, black-clad man who seems to follow them everywhere they go. When Eliza is struck with a mysterious wasting illness, her doctor orders her to take the healing waters of Transylvania, a journey with devastating consequences that was meant to be forward. Comes out on July 7th. My next book is Black Point by Jacqueline West. Lucia Sorenson holds on hard to the things she loves. Her tiny Wisconsin hometown clings to the bluffs above the Mississippi River, threatened by weather, time, and the creep of climate change. Her mother is pushing her to go away to college and see the world beyond her small town, but Lucia is determined to stay in to keep her grandmother's Viking museum going. When a Black Point hotel, a 150-year-old landmark that's been empty for decades, is bought by an outsider, thugs start raining. Lucia meets the new owner's teenage nephew, Max. And as they grow closer, she discovers there's something thrilling about getting to know someone who hasn't known her all her life, and maybe something more. Comes out July 28th. My next book is We Were Never Here by Sophia Hannan. In July, Georgia Perry and Jules Park, secret girlfriends, covert art thieves, and co-hosts of a popular YouTube ghost hunting show, step into a haunted house to steal a priceless painting. A few short hours later, there's a knife in Jules' chest and Georgia is waking up in a pool of blood with no painting and no memory of how she got there. Now it's October and Georgia is underwater. She hasn't been to class in weeks and she's avoiding her old crew and only friends, like the plague. But when the 3 remaining thieves got a call from the man, who paid a hefty sum to keep them out of jail, demanding that they return to finish their job, Georgia has no choice but to return to her old life. Comes out on July 28th. My next book is Unnamed Bones by Laura Senf. Reckless, depressed, impulsive at 16, Harold Lane is going to an island that shouldn't exist to look for answers about the death of her father, the father who accidentally cursed her shortly after she was born. Things immediately go very wrong, beginning with the sinking of the boat that brought them to the island, and an ominous chuckle from something that shouldn't be there, and keep getting worse in ways they couldn't possibly imagine. Harold and friends came without being invited, and one of them lives there doesn't like visitors. Comes out on July 21st. My next book is To Dance the Moon and Stars by Tasia Ennis and Barbara Perez Marquez. 18-year-old Mira has spent her entire life training to replace her grandmother as high priestess, but with the day of her ascension rapidly approaching, she's not sure if she's meant for this path. How can she become the herald of the god Arun when he forbids the thing she loves most, dancing? Her kingdom can afford hesitation though. Not only is the emperor looking for Arun's wisdom ahead of a peace treaty, but forces of the darkness are seeping through the barrier between worlds. The only source of light Mira has her childhood best friend, the Crown Prince. Without his support and love, she may not be able to stop what's coming. Comes out on July 14. My next book is The Drowned Witch by Lindsay Olson. In Oilina, the witch is feared above all else. Reborn into each generation, she is the only person with magic running innately through her veins, able to wield magic with a single thought. So when the gods across the city begin to drop dead, gruesomely murdered by violent and vicious magic, everyone knows the witch has returned, and no one will be saved but actually killed. Torwin is the prince's crown, the most highly skilled fighter in the king's guard. Tasked with the responsibility of leading the hunt for the witch, Torwin tries to focus on his assignment to forget the ghost of his past, and after he learns of Ness, a thief with uncanny abilities to sniff out magic, he forcibly recruits her into joining his hunt. As the two face deadly magic and otherworldly threats, the mutual dislike soon turns to something more electric, and they find themselves drawn to each other in ways they would never imagine. But the witch is always a step ahead of them, and with bodies piling up, secrets threaten to come to light. Secrets that can destroy everything from the fragile trust between them to the very city of Orleans itself. This kind of reminds me of Wicked. I don't know why. Comes out on July 14. My next book is Corpse Dead Ballet, a graphic novel by Megan Carney. Arriving at St. Anthony's Selhurst in the middle of the year, Rosamund Hammond is ready to practice hard and prove she deserves to be there, but something at this boarding school doesn't feel right. It turns out that just before Rosamund enrolled, a student disappeared without telling anyone. Was it really a leave of absence or something more sinister? Together with a new roommate, Rosamund spirals deeper and deeper into obsession with the truth. As the school prepares for its showcase performance of Coppelia, can she commit to her art on ballet dreams while solving the mystery that's haunting her? Or will she lose herself in the process? Comes out on July 7th. And my next book, it has no summary whatsoever. It's called Witches and Hermits by Paige Hendon, and it will come out on July 7th. My next book is All Her Ghosts by Cynthia Perth. Persephone Green doesn't have a heartbeat. In a country where the dead has evilly locked a mortal living for nearly 2 decades, even she knows its absence is not normal. In the place of her heart, something inhuman stirs. An ancient ocean she discovers twinned in the chest of Sebastian, the charmingly bizarre new student. When they're together, their trapped ghosts are like a beacon, and when they kiss, white flowers bloom in the dead autumn ground. To exhume the truth, Persephone and Baz travel across the Midwest to the deserted facility where it all began. Pursued across state lines by withering swarms of ghosts, militant government agents, and maybe worst of all, her mother, they unspool a tangled web of conspiracy and all its divine and devastating truth. Comes out on July 7th. We're almost done. My next book is Our Wicked Gifts by Catherine Foxfield. Cecily is the black sheep daughter of the powerful Winter family who made a deal with the devil in exchange for riches and ruthless magic. Servant is the boy her family banished to the underworld. Their fates intertwine with Cecily's lonesome Uncle Darian winds up dead at a masquerade ball. Once overlooked for her lonely gift of discovering secrets, Cecily is now her family's only chance at survival, tasked with finding the killer before he takes her every last winter. With time running out, Cecily narrows her eyesight on Sylvian, who she suspects is back for vengeance. Comes out on July 7th. My next book is The Lure of Wolves and Whispers by Amanda Connolly. On the mist-shrouded isle of Arianan, buying magic comes with a price. But when her beloved older sister is gravely injured, Maeve risks everything to find the forbidden magic that might save her. In exchange, Maeve betrays her life to a ruthless and dangerously unloving rebel leader. Bound to do his bidding, Maeve finds herself thrown into deadly competition to become the next queen, and stand beside a prince rumored to be more brutal than his tyrannical father. With the isle on the brink of war, trust and survival come at a terrible cost. One that will tear Maeve's world and her heart into. What would you sacrifice to survive? Comes out July 7th. My next book is The Winter Folk by Jen Julian. This is the story of Moth, who earned her name working for the Winter Folk. Every year, the Winter Folk gathered at a secret lodge in the Appalachians, a place known as Deer Haven, refuge for the time-worn and weary. As a child, Moth heard warnings from her. They are heartless, wild creatures, and they got no concern of us. At 21, Moth is a college dropout, in debt, impoverished, and desperate for better things. She falls instantly for Deer Haven's beautiful antlered host, the mild-mannered Mr. Olson. When he offers a housekeeper's contract, one wish granted for a winter of service, she signs without question. But Deer Haven is a dangerous place. Staff must follow strict rules or else face dire consequences, and the guests can be unpredictable and savage. And yet Moth endures, enticed by rumor that Mr. Olson is looking for a protege, a singular worker who would stay with him forever and be transformed. Comes out on July 21st. My next book is Fabulous Bodies by Chuck Tingle. Fashion influencer by day and grave robber by night, Poppy Stringer is on call when Eddie Michaels, a flamboyant, piano-slamming rock star and queer icon, unexpectedly dies. All Poppy has to do is retrieve Eddie's body from the medical examiner's office, but what starts as a routine delivery quickly goes off course when Eddie wakes up. Comes out on July 7th. And my next book is Fate Worse Than Drowning by Sarah L. Hawthorne. 1 meal with the devil makes a fool. 2. A villain. A year ago, Elle made a deal with the devil to save her sister. Now they live on a desolate spit of land beyond Halifax Harbor. Elle, as a lighthouse keeper, steers unsuspecting sailors to their destruction. Those are the terms of her bargain. Lady need never know the cost. Her safety rules every drop of blood. But the sinner's pact is not so simple. When the devil returns demanding more shipwrecks, no survivors, Elle knows what she must do to keep Lady safe. Comes out on July 21st. And my last book is Rootbound, a Tangled novel by Margaret Owen. Rapunzel knows nothing about her neighboring kingdom Astria, and not just because she only left the tower a month ago. The famously reclusive island has limited contact with outsiders for decades, so when a suspicious invitation arrives welcoming Rapunzel to the Astrian princess's coming-of-age ceremony and offering her a chance to be useful for the first time since she lost her healing powers, Rapunzel accepts and unwillingly plunges herself and her companion Eugene into a tangled knot of political intrigue and magical secrets. Comes out on July 28th. And those are all the books for July. I might add some more if I find anything else, but otherwise, let me know when you're excited for July, and please like, comment, subscribe so you know if I have time to post. I will see you in my next one. Bye!